Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps, and today I'm going to be creating a seashell shaker card. And I want to apologize for my voice. I have been very sick lately. So I'm going to start with the Beach Break A2 cover plate. I'm going to die cut both of those pieces, and then I'm going to use the Beach Break coordinating stencil. It has two stencils in those, excuse me. And I am die cutting this from some heavyweight white cardstock, so some Nina Solar Crest or Solar White Classic Crest 110-pound cardstock. So that's how those pieces are going to layer. This is going to be the back to our shaker card, but let's get some stenciling going so we can create this really pretty background. So I'm going to start with the water here, which you could leave this piece out because the A2 size piece also embosses the water, but I just think it has this extra piece. Let's use it. So there's two stencils, and I'm going to start with the first one for the water. On the second stencil, it also has some for the water. So each one has a stencil for the water and for the sand. So I'm going to use Distress Oxide inks for my inks of choice. I am using, of course, Salvaged Patina. It is my most favorite color, and I love ocean water that looks like this. But when you stencil this is going to also leave that beautiful foam that kind of washes up when the waves wash up onto the sand. So the stencils are going to leave some of that open area. I am going to, well, I thought I was going to go to the background. I'm like, wait a minute, I have the other part of the ocean to do. So I'm going to bring in that second stencil, which is going to help us color those bigger white areas, but it's still going to leave some white areas, which is again what makes it look like that ocean foam washing up. You could do this with two different colors, but I'm just going to keep it simple with the Salvaged Patina. So that little piece is done now. Now I can work on the sand part of our background. I am going to ink blend over the whole background with antique linen. I love that for sand, like the light color of sand. So I'm just going to do a quick ink blending over this. I'm not worried about ink blending over the ocean part because we're just going to be covering it up anyways. And then I'm going to bring in the Gathered Twigs, which is a darker brown. So to me, it just looks like this is sand that is more wet than the other part of the sand. So we're going to line up our first stencil here, and it has all of these fun little lines. And so I'm going to ink blend that. I'm not going to go too heavy-handed with the ink, but I am going to make sure it has some good color. And then this stencil has all little dots, which you could do in white, but I just kept it with the Gathered Twigs. Because again, this is the background to our shaker card, and I want this to be beautiful, but really it's going to be about the seashells that we're going to use as the shaker elements. So we're going to use the Lovely Layers small seashells, and that's going to be what's going to be shaking around in our card. So that's the second stencil there. I have die cut all of my seashells from watercolor cardstock because I want to use Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color my seashells, and I will zoom in here pretty quick. This is a sand dollar. Sand dollars are some of my favorite things to collect. I just think they're so beautiful. I have a jar full of them, like a big jar in my dining room table. Every time my husband and I go to Morro Beach, there's just tons of them washed up, and don't worry, we don't take ones that are alive. There is I just didn't even know there could be so many on a beach. And so my husband always has his shoes full. He takes his shoes off for me, and we fill them up with sand dollars. So I'm just adding some fun colors. Some seashells are going to look a little more realistic. Some are not. The colors that I'm using of the Zig markers are light carmine, light gray, pale pink, oatmeal, light violet, light pink, light blue, natural beige, and orange. This seashell, I think I did light gray and probably oatmeal or natural beige. This is light pink. I'm going to blend that out just a little bit. So you just use a little bit of water to blend out the color. So you add a little bit of color so you can see that I'm just adding it to some of the areas. I'm not coloring the whole image with it, which you could do. But I like the watercolor look, so I am just adding a little bit of color and then dipping my paintbrush in a tiny bit of water and then just washing over it and letting those colors blend. And so you'll have a little bit of some darker areas, some lighter areas. And so I'm blending out the pink here, and I have a seashell like that. I just think they're so pretty. My house is full of seashells, so I love this project. Seashells are one of my most favorite things to look at. I just think they're so stunning. So again, this is a lovely layers die. Some of these have layers, some of them don't, and I'll show you. I think there's 3 seashells that have layers, and when I'm done coloring, I will show you what those layers look like. But as you can see, this is really easy, quick coloring. Keeping it really simple, but colorful, because I do want to have colorful seashells in the background against that sand and ocean. I'm going to finish adding that little, I think that was pale pink, a really light pink color. This one is going to be super colorful. I'm going to do a little bit of purple and some blue, a little bit of tan, just to throw in some extra color on my seashells. So I'm blending that brown and blue, but I think I needed to add something to the purple, so I was deciding, and I went with a tad bit of blue on the ends there. Now we have our seashells. So let's get these glued together. I'm just going to use reverse tweezers and liquid glue to get our little layered ones layered together. Like I said, there's 3 of these, and it's really easy to see how they go together. And Honeybee Stamps has A2 sized shaker pockets, which is what we're going to use for our shaker card. I'm going to add a sentiment to the front of that. This is from the Be the Light stamp set, and it says, I would go anywhere with you. I inked that up with black ink. I'm going to use the coordinating die to die cut this out. I'm just going to tape it in place with some low tack tape and then run that through my die cut machine. I was just trying to figure out which die went to that sentiment. And then it's really, again, all about the seashells in the shaker card. And this A2 shaker pocket gives you the look of an infinity shaker. And so look at that background, it's so pretty. I think I forgot to show you guys that I did splatter on the background, but you kind of end up not seeing it. The Be Shimmery watercolor from Honeybee Stamps, you end up not seeing it because I throw in some kind of clear glitter, but I did splatter that all over the background, and I think it looks beautiful, but I don't know, you could probably leave that out. I'm trimming down this size just a little bit, like a hair off of the side and the top, to make sure it fits into the pocket nicely and it's not going to bow. And I did score the pocket pieces ahead of time, so they were already kind of folded over. I'm removing the release paper on 3 sides, leaving the top open. I'm going to use my score tool there to really press it down to make sure it adheres to that. And I'm putting in my seashells, making sure they're face up. I don't want them to flip over. And I'm loving this so much. I mean, if you wanted even more seashells, you could do double the seashells. But here's kind of that white, clear kind of glitter just from my stash. And I'm going to put a bunch in there. So really, you didn't even see the Be Shimmery on the background. So there was kind of no point in doing it. But I'm going to fill that up pretty good. Not too much, but I do like the shimmer. And I'm going to take that release paper off the top and fold that down and press it down with my bone folder. And then you can shake it around, and the cardstock will break up and they'll kind of be more, the seashells will spread out. I'm removing the protective plastic off the front of that. And then we're going to add that sentiment right in the center. I'm going to do some tape runner so it'll hold immediately, and then a couple little drops of liquid glue because then it'll really stay adhered to the front of this plastic. And then I will adhere this to an A2 size card base, but let's take a look at this up close. Look at how fun, and all the shaky bits, all those beautiful seashells, that fun glitter in there just looks kind of shiny and pretty. I love how this turned out. This is one of my most favorite cards ever. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project. I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you guys have a great day.